This podcast is part of the Gonna Geek Network. The opinions expressed may not reflect those of other podcasts or affiliates of this show or Gonna Geek. Check out other geeky podcasts at gonnageek.com and get ready because geekiness starts in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance level 10. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents of equal or higher security clearance.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
And I'm Agent Haley.
And Agent Lauren is on special assignment tonight, so it's just the two of us. Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. one-shot number 15, San Diego Comic-Con Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the general Marvel Universe.
Because by Odin's beard, they are connected.
They are connected! Hey, just a reminder, go to legendsofshield.com. You can find all our contact information there.
Including our voicemail line, 844-THE-BUS-1. That's 844-843-2871.
Say, everybody must think I'm right about everything, because we have yet to receive a Coulson badge voicemail.
I don't think that's the case. I think they're just having too hard of a time deciding which is their favorite Star Pie is Wrong moment.
But that might be the case, but
because there are just so many of them to wade through. It's just taking them a while to really settle into their top 10.
See, I don't
20.
think so. I think we're golden here. I think I've got it. I think I'm going to keep Coulson's badge.
I think this is another case of you being wrong.
Well, somebody's going to have to call in and say what I'm wrong about. Otherwise, I get to keep the badge. Neener.
Well, we've had your movie listing ranks in the last 7 or 8 podcasts or however many, so that's, a prime example right there.
I'm right by Odin's beard. I'm right. I'm a rocket scientist after all. We're not ever wrong. Let's just assume I'm right and then we can carry on with our conversation.
I guess they don't teach you the meaning of right in rocket science school.
Lefty, righty, tighty, whatever. What we are talking about is we are running a giveaway for Coulson's badge. It's a little leather-bound thing. You can go to our Twitter feed, our Facebook, and I believe our Tumblr. I think Lauren put it on there too. And see the picture of the actual badge. It's a S.H.I.E.L.D. badge in Coulson's identification as Agent Coulson, by the way, because he hasn't had a time to stop and have a director Coulson identification made. So, but that's our giveaway. You have to call in our voicemail line at 844-THE-BUS-1 and apparently tell me why I'm wrong, or the favorite why I'm wrong, or the funniest why I'm wrong, or something like that. I don't know. But that's what
we've also said we'll accept them coming to your defense. But again, I think that's a really poor decision on their part.
Yeah, it is. Because I'm right.
Nope.
You know who else was right?
Who?
Kevin Feige.
About a lot of things, yes.
Yeah, man, that guy's had a heck of a decade. Look at those Guardians of the Galaxy open weekend numbers.
The final number for domestic box office was 94.3 million, which of course was the new August record. Just totally stomping the Bourne
Ultimatum, I believe.
I think that was the one. So up to this point, we're recording on Thursday night. The domestic box office is at 126.8 million, 219.3 million worldwide, and they had a production budget of 170 million.
Now, have you gone to see... You saw it twice before we recorded last weekend, right?
Right.
Have you seen it again since then?
No.
I have not either, but my son Sandrock comes back into town this weekend, and he so wanted to go see it opening weekend, but he had planned the trip months and months, like a year and a half ago, actually, the trip was planned. So he had no control over going away, and he's like, maybe if I just missed the flight that I could go see Guardians. I'm like, nah, you need to go on this flight.
Well, he doesn't have that excuse anymore because they've got the movies planned out 5 years in advance. He can plan his trips around it.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to talk about that later. But he's coming back Saturday night, so if we can squeeze it in on Sunday, that is exactly where we're going. And I, of course, have bought both of the soundtracks. Now, there's 3 different soundtracks. There's the musical score of the melody and whatever, the theme. But then you have the Awesome Mix #1, and then you have a deluxe edition that's available on CD. I bought the 2 separate ones, and I have been playing them over and over. How much have you heard yours?
I put the Awesome Mixtape on a loop when I get around in the mornings and when I go to work. So I've worked 7 days, I think, since I bought it. So I've listened to it at least 7 times, probably closer to 10 or 12.
I've been listening to it in the shower, running around the house, in the car. Yeah, it's great. It's even better after you've seen the movie, because like before you've seen the movie, it's just me and the way my musical mathematical mind works is I have to have something to identify it with, and it's definitely identified with those songs and where they are in the movie.
You kind of replay those scenes in your head now when each song comes on.
Oh, absolutely. Especially like the montage scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So if you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy, we're not going to spoil it anymore in this podcast. This is a Guardians of the Galaxy spoil-free podcast, pretty much at least.
Well, spoiler light.
Yeah, there you go. Just go see the movie. It's great. It's well worth your time. And I expect this to do at least Cap 2 numbers, if not more.
It's already ahead of where Cap 2 was. It had a better opening weekend.
Be interesting, as I was talking about on the Gonna Geek podcast with a couple of the other hosts on the Gonna Geek Network, and we're all interested to see what the drop is going to be this weekend, especially with that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie coming out. But I'll wait for a video to see that. I want to see this in the theater again. I might, even though I have problems seeing it in 3D, I might go see it in 3D.
I've heard there are a few scenes that are just really fantastic in 3D.
It's well used from what I've heard, but I've only seen it in 2D.
So that's what the opening box office numbers were. But apparently, ladies love hot Chris's. We knew this. Women made up 44% of the opening weekend audience, which is better than the previous Marvel film that had the lead, which was Avengers at 40%.
I would love to see a demographic of what's the age grouping of those women. Like, are we talking prime 18 through 48 or 49 or whatever it is? Are we talking little kids or what is? I don't know. I haven't seen the numbers, so I don't even know if they exist. But regardless, that's pretty cool. Right.
And so, the traditional wisdom has always been young men make up the audience for these comic book movies, and the statistics are proving that that's not quite the case.
Now, are we only calling this a comic book movie? Because it's like a space sci-fi movie, too.
Yeah, it fits in a lot of boxes. It's a comic book movie, it's a summer blockbuster, it's a space sci-fi movie, it's an action movie. All those are traditionally genres dominated by male audiences, though.
Well, it's nice to see the women folk coming up and enjoying some of this stuff. I don't know if they were specifically meant for them or not, but hey, when Chris Pratt took his shirt off, yeah, that's what I thought. I went to the gym. I didn't get the same effect, but oh well. So we've also heard, talking about women in comic book movies and sci-fi and sort of stuff, we also heard this week that Marvel was putting a little teaser out there and saying, hey, we've put a little work into a Black Widow movie.
Right. Apparently, around 2010, 2011, Nicole Perlman, who co-wrote Guardians of the Galaxy, wrote a treatment for a Black Widow movie. Now, at this point, she said she's not actively working on a movie for Black Widow, but it does go to show you that they've given some thought to using the character on her own.
That would be awesome. The downward spiral ever since Avengers with the single character movies, Iron Man 3 and Thor 2, I'm wondering if you would crank it down to just Black Widow. You're basically going to get a Lucy type movie that she was just in. And it'd be a different story, but it didn't fare all that great. So I'm not sure if Marvel would want to throw their eggs in that basket, at least at this point in time. But I would want to see it. I want to see that. I want to see a Wonder Woman movie. I want to see a Miss Marvel movie. I, as a guy, want to see all this stuff.
Right. I don't know why guys wouldn't want to see women in movies. I mean, it seems like there's just as much there for them as there would be for a female audience.
Yeah.
Well, somebody else has been talking about a female-led movie, and that is Sony, who currently holds the right to all the Spider-Man franchises.
Now, are they talking about like a female Spider-Woman or?
Well, they haven't said what character they plan on using, but they own a few, and they said they wanted to get a female-led movie out by 2017. So they right now have the rights to the biggest characters that anyone can think of that they might use would be Spider-Woman, Black Cat, or Silver Sable. And I really know nothing about Silver Sable. If Lauren was here, she would probably tell us a lot. I know very little about Spider-Woman, except that her powers aren't exactly like Spider-Man. She's not just, the female version of Spider-Man. She's kind of her own character. She has her own powers.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know a little bit about Black Cat. She's Felicia Hardy, and her power, she's kind of related to Cap, actually. Her powers usually are said to have originated from a super soldier serum.
Yeah, say that 5 times straight.
I know. Haley Ward's good. But they said that the writer they're looking at for this is Lisa Joy. She's got some TV writing credits from Burn Notice and Pushing Daisies. She's also got a few movies that haven't come out yet that she wrote. And the article went on to mention that, we had 2 action movies come out recently, Lucy and Hercules. And of the 2, Lucy is the one that did better at the box office.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to. And the trailers for that are amazing. Yeah. And as far as Lisa Joy and Burn Notice, I can't think of another TV show, non-comic book related, that is so much like a comic book. So I can see a writer or producer or director from Burn Notice easily transitioning into a comic book movie.
Mm-hmm. And the last female-led comic book movie we had was Elektra, and that was in 2005. So by the time we get another one, it's going to have been over a decade.
Wow. That needs to change.
I know, right?
Hear that, Hollywood? That 44% that was at Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah, they've got bucks too, so get on it.
Yeah.
So talking about something else that Marvel needs to get on, they're making some headway, I guess, with Ant-Man.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of casting news for Ant-Man. Evangeline Lilly, who's going to be best known probably from Lost, and then she was also in the latest Hobbit movie as the female elf.
Ah.
She has been cast to play Hope Van Dyne, Henry Pym's daughter.
Awesome.
And Corey Stoll, who has a bunch of acting credits for stuff that I've never seen, has been cast to play Darren Cross using the Yellow Jacket persona.
Oh, okay. I'll have to take a look at his IMDb, because that name does not ring a bell at all. But it sounds like they're making progress. Now, that movie is due out like next summer, right?
Right. It's supposed to come out July 17th.
And I know at SDCC they were talking that principal photography was like 2 weeks away or something like that. So I sure hope they're making progress on that. If any Marvel movie in the stable right now that is in the future has a potential to flop, this is definitely one. And I hope it doesn't, because I don't want Marvel to take a black eye, because they've given us 10 really good movies, and I want to see that continue.
I'm not concerned about any future of Marvel at this point.
Well, apparently neither is James Gunn, because he's already starting to work on Guardians 2. Did you see his Facebook post?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he wrote on Facebook this long thing like, "Thank you so much. I'm so glad that I was able to make the movie that I had envisioned." I think that was a little jab with the Edgar Wright deal. And I think it was Adam on the Facebook page commented that as well. But yeah, he wrote this really nice thank you, and he was kind of overtaken by everybody and all the great acclaim and success at the box office so far. So it really emboldened him to start on Guardians 2 right away.
Right. And he has been confirmed as the writer-director for that film. And they've also confirmed a release date for Guardians 2, which is going to be July 28th, 2017.
Wow. We've got movies on, I'm looking at the schedule. There's movies all the way up to 2019 now.
Right. And I filled in as much as we know about it on this schedule, and I've also got some more theories in here. So we've got Avengers 2 still in May 2015, then Ant-Man, Captain America 3 in May 2016. We've already told you we're thinking Doctor Strange is going to take that July 2016. And if Guardians is going to take July 2017, I would guess that they're going to try and get Thor 3 out before then. So that would be in the May 2017 slot.
You think they're going to do a crossover between the two?
Maybe. But I think they would have announced that when they announced the date, because they have confirmed they plan on doing Thor 3 as part of the Phase 3 movies.
So now we have more than one character that we can ask. So how's space? Space is good.
But I don't know. Maybe they want to try and get another new franchise in before they do Guardians 2. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, there's Black Panther, Black Widow, Miss Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, bunch of stuff. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 in 2017.
Yeah, if Sony's going to get out their female character by 2017, maybe that's what they need to do with that May 2017 slot.
Yeah, it also depends on what they want to do with Phase 3, too, because you're postulating Avengers 3 is either in May of 2018 or April 2019.
Yeah, May 2018 would keep them on the same 3-year cycle that they've been going between Avengers films. but April 2019 would finish out the slate of movies that they've put out dates for.
It's all great conjecture. I mean, the dates are solid, at least for Marvel.
Right.
Not so much for DC.
They played chicken with the train and they lost.
Yeah, wow. So what did they do?
They moved their Batman vs. Superman release date to March 25th of 2016.
So what is that, 2 months or
yeah,
month
they
and a
moved it
half?
up 2 months.
Oh, wow.
But then they released an official slate of dates for release, which is not the same as the leaked rumor one that we had a month ago.
So this is official Warner Brothers.
Right. And there's a bunch of untitled DC films, which are labeled as such. And then there's a couple untitled WB event films, which a lot of people are saying are probably actually Harry Potter spin-off movies.
No, it could be.
And are not DC films. But I put those dates in there as well.
So, okay, looking at the Marvel list, it looks like they got 2 movies a year through 2016, and then they jumped to 3 for 17 and 18.
Right.
2017 and 2018. Warner Brothers are 2 movies in 2016, 2017.
Well, they've got 2 DC films confirmed every year until 2020.
Except for the event films. That would be a third in 2018.
Which I'm guessing are not actually DC films.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Unless they're like Justice League films, and they're going to be bonuses for those years.
DC's got a long way to go. Oh, definitely it's got a long way to go. I'm not saying they can't turn it around, but right now my money is definitely on a Marvel because they seem to have their crap together.
I mean, I think at this point it's the race for the female superhero, and I don't know why nobody's trying harder to win.
I don't know either. It's such an untapped market right now. It's just, I mean, Kevin Feige, he's got to have a plan. I hope he has a plan. And I'll put my money with Kevin, at least as long. How much longer do you think he's going to last there at Marvel?
As long as he can keep breaking in money and he keeps wanting to do that, he's going to stay.
How long did Eisner stay at Disney? Do you remember? It was like just over a decade or something like that. So I think there's a shelf life on Kevin. I think he won't be able to pull it off. But dang, he pulled off Guardians. He pulled off Iron Man, and then he went smack dag into Phase 1 and Phase 2, and he pulled off Guardians. So good on him.
Speaking of the man.
Speaking of Kevin Feige. So he's been doing a little talking on his own.
Right. He said that he's confirming at this point that Thanos is not going to be in Avengers 2. Probably.
Nah.
And then he went on to talk about how, people want to see all of the characters in one movie together. And he said that sounds great, but he wants to make sure that the characters that are in a movie are being done justice and that they're not just shoving as many characters into a movie as they can.
Like X-Men 3?
Like X-Men 3. So he says that he wants to keep it, they're all in the same universe and anybody can show up in any movie, but they're not going to have everyone in one movie, which makes sense. And then, I know. And then he talked about, how they've upped the number of films per year to 3 a year. And he said there's no reason for them to stick to 2 films a year if they've got more movies that are ready to come out.
Mm-hmm. You just have to have the talent to produce them. I mean, acting talent is one thing. You have to be selected, but it's available. Directing and producing, that's another story, especially when you're talking about trying to stick to a combined universe.
Mm-hmm. And you've got to get talented writers and directors that are willing to work within the limitations that Marvel's going to put on them.
Right.
Which we've seen has not been the case with everybody.
No, unfortunately. Maybe there'll be a reconciling someday.
And talking about the characters per film, I would kind of like to see them with some of the established characters, maybe not having all these solo movies, but maybe having more team-up movies. Like kind of a step between the solo movies and the Avengers movies.
Yeah, because it's kind of unbelievable. We've talked about it before. Everybody's talked about it. Like, it's unbelievable that so-and-so isn't available to help out with this event. So if you take, like, the most likely people that would be around or most likely to deal with a certain event and throw it together, like 2 or 3, I think that would be great. Like, kind of like they've been doing with Black Widow. She's been teamed up with the Arrow dude.
Hot guy?
Oh, yeah, that's his name. Yeah, right. I'm just kidding, Jeremy. You're great. They've been teamed up together for several films, and he was even mentioned in Cap 2, even though he wasn't in there. So I think that if you start doing that sort of thing, heck, I think you could even say Cap 2 was probably like a first foray into that.
Right.
Yeah, so I think it could work over and over again. I think you're onto something, Haley. Hey, Marvel, Agent Haley wants a job.
Yeah, I'll take a job if you insist. He also said that these movies need to be able to stand on their own. You know, yes, they are part of this larger universe, but anybody should be able to go in and watch any one movie or any set of movies and understand what's going on.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was driving around a carload of 13-year-old girls today. And
because you're so lucky.
Yes. And I tell you what, these are some smart, motivated girls, but they're not delved into the Marvel Universe. A few of them have seen Avengers, but not all of them. And I was thinking, you know, I could take this whole car into Guardians of the Galaxy and they wouldn't have to know anything about Thor, Loki, Cap, Iron Man, they would just see what's there in the movie and that'd be great. Cap 2, not so much. I mean, yes, it is kind of standalone, but it means so much more with the greater universe, and same with Avengers. So the more that they can make the movies stand on their own but mean something in the general universe, I think the better off they're going to be. And I think Guardians pulled that off great.
Right. He also mentioned in this article that they'll probably use the next Guardians movie to establish any of the cosmic characters that they might want to use, as opposed to having them start off in their own solo film.
Yeah, we talked about that in the cast last weekend, where I thought that Guardians, one of their failings actually was, it was hard for somebody that wasn't backed in the general Guardians of the Galaxy universe to understand who these people were. And I particularly was talking about Thanos and Ronan and Nebula and Gamora, but even the Guardians themselves, that was an issue. But hey, you know, in the end, I can't complain about it. It's pretty good. Look forward to seeing the second movie.
Yep. And then a couple of quick fire things. Ant-Man is looking to be a heist movie, which I think they'd mentioned before.
That'd be so cool, actually. We haven't done that yet in the Marvel Universe, and I think that's exactly what it needs.
It's such a classic comic book story, too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, foiling a bank job or something.
Uh-huh.
So, and then Doctor Strange's origin is going to be a very classic version of the story that's been told before.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll actually do some research and have it turn out good this time.
Right? Actually, if you're looking to read that story, the Doctor Strange #1 from the late 60s, they retell his origin story in that, and the art is fantastic, and the storytelling is fantastic. It's one of the best books from that period of time.
Yeah, I've been so busy. After I caught up for Guardians or prepped for Guardians, I haven't been able to do any comic book reading. I've gotten a few DC comics, Flash and Green Arrow, just to try, but I haven't read them yet. I just picked them up at the store just to try to get ready for season 2 of Arrow and season 1 of Flash. But I definitely need to get back to the Marvel stuff. And now that I'm hopefully tech problem free, we'll see. And we don't have a big movie that we have to prep for, then I'll be able to get some more reading in on my new Surface tablet.
Ooh, fancy.
Well, you know, I got it because Felicity has one on Arrow. Gotta like the Evelies. You know what else is good? Guardians and Avengers.
Yeah, so in the biggest news story in the history of news, Guardians and Avengers are going to be in a crossover together.
No, you don't say.
Confirmed by Kevin Feige. Or no, it was James Gunn, this one. James Gunn said that they haven't worked out on how they would cross over. They don't know if it would be all of the Avengers and all of the Guardians, or some of the Avengers and some of the Guardians, but they're definitely going to cross over. Which, you know, of course, Marvel has been, you know, catering to the fans since they started. So of course they're going to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whole Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a catering to the fans. Everybody wanted Coulson again. Yay, we want Coulson. Okay, well, here you go. There's your Coulson, all wrapped up. He's not dead.
Not dead yet.
You know, somebody else that didn't die was Groot. And, you know, we've all been clamoring for this dancing baby Groot in a pot. And Marvel's not giving it to us. Well, its own anyway.
Sort of. In the worst possible way. They're going to be putting out a Groot and Rocket figurine set for just buckets of money. $359.99 is the price they're asking. And as a bonus item, you'll get a little dancing Groot accessory to go with that.
They're trying to cash in on this big time.
Right? This is from Sideshow Collectibles. So they're going to do a limited run of it at this point, but if it sells well, Marvel will probably be willing to sell it by itself, either through the same company or through another license.
they're probably catering to people like me who are middle-aged and established in their jobs and have a little expendable income. But I'm telling you, $360, I can buy a plane ticket with that. I can buy a new TV with that. I can do a lot with that money. It's a monthly payment on a car or something, you know.
Well, good news. They're going to have an installment plan too.
Oh, well, there you go.
But yeah, I don't need the Rocket and Groot set. I just need a little dancing Groot.
I know. I've got all the collectibles I'm ever going to have from my childhood. I don't need something like this. It's not like you're going to get an actual, like Star Wars, where you could get actual set props, or what was that, the Dark Crystal or whatever. You're not going to get that. It's mostly CGI. What are you going to do? Buy somebody's keyboard or monitor or mouse or pad or something? No. So, sorry guys, I'm not going to spend $360 for it, but I still want a dancing baby Groot. That's so cool.
Well, they've also said, Marvel has, we got this via Nerdist, that they're planning on doing a trippy Doctor Strange film. So they're not going to go with the dark and gritty urban fantasy thing that's been the trend in recent years.
Is this going to be like a Barbarella? That was pretty trippy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You've never seen the movie Barbarella?
No.
Oh, Sean mentioned it once, and I took it out. It was on Netflix, and I managed to get it on a player that actually sped it up. And yeah, it's not worth seeing all the way through, but it's Barbarella is a superheroine, and she basically out orgasms an orgasm machine to defeat the evil person. So it's not for the little kids, but it's definitely trippy. It's got 60s all over it.
Well, that's what they're saying, is that they want this to just be weird and strange and not like, really grounded and dark and gritty, which makes sense if you've seen, at least from what I've seen, the 60s comics, which looks like somebody had an acid trip and wrote it down.
The creativity, it needs to come from somewhere. Oh, and on the other hand, you got the artists, the creativity, the creative ones, and then you have the hardcore scientists.
Right. At San Diego Comic-Con, Marvel had a panel about science, and it was Marvel's S.H.I.E.L.D. Station, or I don't know, but Station, because we needed another acronym.
Always.
Scientific Training and Tactical Intelligence Operative Network. So you could go into this Comic-Con event, and they would explain the science of Marvel to you. They did all the big characters, like why Cap didn't die when he was frozen.
Yeah, because he was constantly regenerating.
Right. No, it's more specific than that. Like the super soldier serum increased the glucose in his blood, and that's why his blood didn't crystallize when he froze, and it didn't damage the tissue. Like really, really specific explanations.
Same reason he can't get drunk. Poor guy. I feel his pain, by the way, because I'm allergic to alcohol. But yeah, that would have been cool to sit through. And well, once you understand that, you can understand the gobbledygook scientific stuff that goes on behind the stories, and you can actually work around it. It's not like Star Trek where you're going to have technobabble here and there, but you got to be able to work with it in order to make a convincing story. So
right, and so you'll want to read that link yourself. You don't want us trying to delve into that and read it to you on the cast.
Well, maybe, yeah, on the cast. If you want to hit me up sometime, I'll get you all caught up with it. Absolutely. Being a rocket scientist and all, I should be able to understand it, right? Well, talking about people like Captain who have origins with super soldier serum. Oh, see, I got it right away. It's first take, ladies and gentlemen. We also have stories out there on the origins of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right. We've got two separate articles here. One's on the origins of the Guardians, and the other one's about the villains. So in the first one, they put in both the first appearance and the origin story, which usually are not the same, for all of the Guardians. So Groot first appeared in Tales to Astonish number 13 from November of 1960, which means it was technically part of Golden Age Marvel. That's how old his first story was, and they still haven't given his origin.
Oh, wow. Well, I know I read something in the prelude that dealt with him trying to take over the Earth.
Everyone does that.
Well, and I asked on Twitter today, I said, is Ronan the only character that Stan Lee actually created in Guardians of the Galaxy. So I was wondering why he had the cameo. And it was because Ronan and apparently Groot. I don't know if there's any more characters, but I don't think any of the other main characters were created by Stan Lee. So 2 characters gets you a cameo, apparently.
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't surprise me because a lot of these characters are from the 70s or later. Like Drax, who first appeared in Iron Man number 55 and had his origins told in Captain Marvel number 32. Both of those are 70s. Gamora was Strange Tales number 180 for the first appearance, and then Warlock number 10 for the origin. Those are both from the 70s.
Oh, wow. So Nebula, this is in the other story, but Nebula's origin was in 1990, but her sister Gamora was in 75. So that's a 15-year difference. Wow.
Right. And I'm not actually with the villain story. I'm not sure they did their origins as much as like just a good story for understanding the characters.
Okay.
Some of them are first appearances and some of them are just when they started to get fleshed out.
Fleshed or flushed?
So like Star-Lord had his first appearance in Marvel Preview number 11 from 1977, and then he disappeared for the 80s and 90s. And then his current origin story was told in Guardians of the Galaxy number 0.1 from February of 2013.
Yeah, and obviously getting ready for the movie here, but I was wondering about that. So I did do some digging into the Star-Lord because I'm thinking, he's a big character. And Marvel could have gone all nuts with him, and they didn't. And I'm wondering why. It could have been just because Star Trek and Star Wars were so big and they knew they weren't going to get in there or whatever. But I'm definitely glad to see him around now. I don't care who played him. Chris Pratt did a great job playing him. But yes, I'm glad we got Star-Lord now.
Yeah. And then everyone's favorite, Rocket.
Yeah, Rocket. Now, who do you think is the real favorite, Rocket or Groot?
Ooh, that's a tough call.
We'll have to answer that next week. Hey, and listeners, if you have an opinion, go ahead, hit us up, Twitter, Facebook, call our voicemail line, and tell us who you would pick between Groot and Raccoon.
Alrighty.
So you have also listed the Guardians of the Galaxy villains, and we'll throw those up on the show notes so you can see the story and the notes Haley made. But basically, we're talking about Ronan, the Collector, Yondu, Nebula, and Korath.
Right. They really just are spread out. Some of them have origins in the 60s, like Ronan. And then you got Nebula, who wasn't introduced until 1990. Mm-hmm. Or Korath from 1992. So really, they're just, 40 years apart in their origins. Yeah. 35 years. I can math.
This story didn't come together well. I mean, there was no comic story that was exactly what the movie was, and we all kind of knew that going in, and we were wondering what James Gunn was going to do, and I think he did a great job again.
Yeah.
So what I was kind of shocked at, did they play a trailer of Guardians of the Galaxy at San Diego Comic-Con, or was there just no mention of it at all other than word of mouth?
I'm not sure, because I haven't watched the San Diego Comic-Con movie panel yet.
Yeah, neither
So
have I.
I would bet if they did a trailer for it, that was when they did it.
Right. Well, I don't think they actually did a panel, which a week before release, that would be both hard and easy to do.
Right. Well, they probably had their cast out, doing all the other shows and things at that point.
Oh, yeah. Going to like
promotion.
Jay Leno, or not Jay Leno, but who's doing it now?
Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon. There you go.
Yeah. Well, because, a week before the movie comes out, everyone that's at Comic-Con is going to go see it. That's not really where you need to be promoting the movie, I think.
No, Marvel released Captain America: The First Avenger around San Diego Comic-Con time, and I went to go see it in the theater, and we've discussed the movie and its pluses and minuses. Like, the first 2 acts are great, the third sucks, at least according to me. Now, Haley, you actually love that whole movie.
I love the whole movie. I think the very end could have been done better, because it was like, we have to get him in the ice to make Avengers work, and they didn't really think very well about how they were going to do that, I don't think.
Now, regardless, I actually went after a full day of conning, after very little sleep the night before, and went to go see it in the theater and fell asleep through half of it. So I had to go see it, or I waited for the Blu-ray to come out, and I did sit down and watch it again. But releasing a movie around Comic-Con time, Cowboys and Aliens was another one that was released like the week after. and who's the director on that? I can't remember off the top of my head, but they took the entire panel for Cowboys and Aliens and they walked them to a theater nearby. And it's really hard to do a movie release right then. You really want to be separated by a few months. And if it's any more than a few months, you really don't have the material put together. You don't have your media package together. So it's just a bunch of people getting up there talking about, hey, we're all really excited here. Yay. But Guardians worked out. In the meantime, though, you have a bunch of people running around doing interviews.
Yeah. Really, the rest of our news section is just a ton of videos. So at San Diego Comic-Con, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did a bunch of interviews before their panel. And so we've got that video there. Just a lot of rapid fire questions. One of the cool things to come out of that is a fan theory that Sky is a Skrull.
That's been talked about before, though.
Yeah.
At least with us.
Yeah, but her response to it was like, oh, I hadn't even thought of that. Oh, and then the other one was
she is an
that...
actress.
The other one was that she and Star-Lord have the same father. So they're half siblings.
So they're obviously going to date and kiss.
And she was like, I hadn't even thought of that. Oh, I don't like that because he's really hot.
She does go in for the hot guys. You talk about any hot guy around her and she gushes. It was great.
She's such a fangirl. I don't know who's the bigger fanboy fangirl, her or Clark Gregg.
Clark Gregg's the bigger fanboy, but...
I get the feeling, though, that she reads a bunch of fanfic.
Oh, yeah, she could, because she's not versed in the comics, but she's learning, like me.
Right.
She's definitely
We'll talk about this more after the panel, but
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, interesting. It's interesting to see her reaction specifically, because she could be coming off with the greatest play of all time, or she could just be legitimately excited.
Well, some more Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. video. We got the season 1 blooper reel.
Yeah, that was funny.
Kind of short, but still fun.
I hope there's more of it on the Blu-ray.
Yeah, and then we've got a bunch of the Captain America Blu-ray special features. Well, Blu-ray DVD. They've put out a couple of deleted scenes, a couple of featurettes, and a gag reel for that.
Wow, I've been so busy I haven't been able to see any of these. This is great. I'm gonna be digesting links left and right.
Right. He's got like a half an hour of video to watch after we do the podcast because of all the links I posted.
Wow. Get the coffee
it
going.
Might be more than that.
Get the Keurig. We're going.
And then they've been putting out a bunch of Guardians of the Galaxy videos that are not like clips and trailers and stuff to really promote it and keep it in the public eye.
Well, I saw Chris Pratt do the tour of the Milano earlier.
Right. So that one, we've got that one in the list of links. There's also a couple of interviews. There's the Lego trailer, which is one of the 30-second trailers done in Lego form.
I so have to see that. That'll be my first link I go into.
And then there's a Lego time-lapse of them building a model of Groot and Rocket, and it took them 80 hours. They tell you like how many people they had doing it and how many pieces are involved in it.
You think Legos are just toys. If you've never played with Legos before, you just think there's little toys and anybody could throw it up. I'm sorry. It's worse than building a skyscraper. You have to know what piece goes where. I had my mom for Christmas gave me this Star Wars troop carrier or whatever. It's a flying, I forget what it's called. Shoot. It's from the prequel movies when they're doing the Clone Wars and they're flying around.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, whatever that ship is. Anyway, she gives it to me for Christmas. And she's like, hey, here, save it for a rainy day and have fun. Well, my little cousin, who was 5 at the time, comes earlier this year. And we sat down to do it over a weekend. And it actually took 2 engineers and him through the entire weekend working off and on in order to make it happen. These things do not happen overnight. These things take planning. You have to follow the directions. You have to get everything in place and in order to create some. The people that actually sit down and create Legos, like they create the sets to submit and everything. Good on you guys, because that
must be like the most fun job in the world.
I don't even know if they have paid personnel anymore, because they have this submittal process where you actually submit your designs now, and then if they want, they'll buy them. So I don't know how many designers they have on staff anymore, but that would be an excellently fun job. Like, I know the Mall of America has a big Lego store in it. I know there's several other Lego stores throughout the United States too, and I've been in several of them, but that would be a fun job, just working there and playing with the Legos all day. It was great. Of course, you have to disinfect them, but yeah. Anyway, yes, all the Guardians of the Galaxy videos. If you've seen the movie, if you haven't seen the movie, I don't think they're going to spoil anything. So go ahead, watch them, have fun, and go see the movie again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this week we sat down, and because we were so busy getting ready for Guardians of the Galaxy, we really didn't have a lot of time to talk about San Diego Comic-Con. So one of the things that we're going to do this week and in future weeks is we're going to go over different events that occurred. These are well covered already in the news, but the one we want to talk about this week is the San Diego Comic-Con panel of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And we've actually got some audio from it, so we're going to go ahead and play it and then talk about it. So you ready to hit that audio, Haley?
Yeah.
Press play.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a very San Diego Comic Book Convention warm welcome to Jeff Bell, the executive producer, Jed Reed and Marissa Sancheron. Start down there and then we'll figure it out along the way. It's unusual thing. I don't really need to say much more than they are Fitzsimmons. You know, we started out, we didn't know if we could trust her. We thought she was a member of the Rising Tide. She wound up being the youngest, newest agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. at a time when S.H.I.E.L.D. fell apart. Chloe Bennett is stopped. She doesn't talk a lot. She does like to kick ass. She's Melinda May. You know, we got a reputation somewhere along the line that we were the show that people started to say, I didn't see that coming. I watched every single episode, I didn't see that coming. I think that's a testament to our incredible writing staff and the direction that Jed and Jeff and Mo took the show in. Sorry, Marissa. But I don't think anyone in this room could have been more surprised than when our good friend, Agent Grant Ward, Greg Coleman plays that role. The thing that makes the Marvel Universe so amazing is we've got the best villains in the world, but you got to balance that with the world's greatest heroes. much like we like to do, I'm going to talk to the gang a little bit, and then you guys are going to get a chance to talk to them. And there may be a few more surprises we have along the way. I'd like to start with, because I just love putting him on the spot. Fitz, Ian. We know, because you've said it everywhere you could, about your love for Red Hall. But we all know, sorry, spoiler alert for those of you that have not been watching the show, you had kind of an untimely or dangerous, we actually don't even know what's happened to you yet. You're here, that makes us feel good. How do you feel about Agent Brent Ward now?
I think it's really safe to say that I was completely heartbroken about the subject. And it's obviously a very emotional subject for me, so I'd rather not speak about it here.
But there is somebody that actually did get a chance, so to speak, on your behalf. Ming. You had kind of a, shall we say, an intimate relationship with Mr. Ward.
One way of putting it.
How do you feel about that now?
Oh, well, let's just say it made me want to do some home improvement. Some power tools.
Talking about this, that you were, this was really a big change for you in your life and coming on the show and being part of it. How has your role changed since you've become Agent Simmons?
I feel like I've got more intelligent. I nearly said cleverer, but that would have... I've got a whole new family and new guys. And we just want to come and say thank you to you guys because we got a season 2 and so we get to do it.
Chloe, you came to the gang and you were an outsider and now you're more than that.
Well, yeah, Jeff, I was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. for like 1 day. And then it all went to that was
like it was planned that way.
What?
It was almost like it was planned that way.
Yeah, it's so weird, guy.
Yeah, it's so weird when
Who did that?
Yeah. Weird that you got your badge.
And so next season, are we gonna get to see you be more involved with the folks at S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I don't know, Jeff. You tell me. Yeah, I believe so. I think there's going to be some changes. She's been through a lot. She was betrayed by somebody. I still ship Skyward. But it's going to take a while, so until then I'm really okay with skimming.
We'll get to you. Brett. As the old expression goes, you got some explaining to do.
Some bad things.
What was that day like when your executive producers came to you and told you that there was going to be a left turn that was pretty surprising?
Well, Jeff, funny you should ask. Bit of an emotional roller coaster that day. Friday night, Ming and I were doing a fight, and I was winning that one. This is
So delusional.
But it's a Friday night, and it's a fight. fight, and there's a lot of EPs there, and suddenly they say, "We need to see you afterward." And I took as long as I possibly could to go into that office. I felt like I was.
You took a really long shower. I remember that. You took a very long shower.
Any excuse. I need to drink a bottle of water before I go anything, and then I went there, and my expression for the next 15 minutes was something like. And I went from finally being, oh, so I'm not being fired, but now I'm a bad guy, so I'm not part of the team. What exactly is happening here? But I got to work with Bill Paxton. And it was quite a turn, and I have embraced it wholeheartedly. So thank you, and I hope there's some Team Hydra out there as well.
I have to say, he did embrace it pretty quickly. I mean, in that room, you know, we told him, we said, you know, this thing's gonna happen, and you're Hydra, and he went, okay. And we went, you get what we just said, right? It's sinking in, but very quickly he was on board and understood how cool it would be, and had some ideas of his own.
And I think once he became a villain, he kind of turned the sexy up a few notches.
We keep asking the question, what is it with girls and those bad boys? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, the other thing that happened was his rage would stop working. I don't know if you know.
Agent Colson, I'm sorry. Director. Question I could possibly ask you, because I know what a fanboy you are. When Nick Fury turned to you at the end of the season and said, fix this, and you're now the director, what was that like for you, both as a character and then also as Clark Gregg, the man that we know still has his comic book collection?
Agent Coulson, then Director Coulson, and Clark have been merging over time. And in that moment, both of us said very loudly inside my head, "Squeeze!" And I think you know what I mean.
Jeff, we're gonna peel back the onion a little bit on what's happening in season 2. Why are you looking at that? Yes, you're gonna have to say something. We're bringing some new folks on board that will be joining along with this gang. And I think this is an opportunity for us to make some announcements that you have not heard yet. You know what I'm gonna make easy is I'll start with Marissa because I think she remembers who she's supposed to tell us about.
I actually don't.
Tell them about me, sweetie. Tell them about me.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about Lucy.
I guess we're confirming that Lucy Lawless will be on the show. A long-time S.H.I.E.L.D. veteran. She's tough. She may have a knife that's always by her side, so that's kind of fun. Her name is Isabel Hartley, and you'll be seeing her pretty soon.
Jeff, those are the folks that are out there that are big fans of Marvel Comics and who know S.H.I.E.L.D's history and know a little bit about a British intelligence division known as Strike. There's a character there by the name of Lance Hunter. And Lance is going to be joining our show. Can you tell us a little bit about that character?
We have a young English actor named Nick Blood who will be joining us. And you don't know him now.
I'll be applauding in here.
But his name is Nick Blood. We didn't make that
last year with these people. I believe you'll be reacting next year with Mr. Blood. And as far as we know, that is his real name, which is so much cooler than Lance Hunter. And he's not a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. He is a mercenary. We are in tatters. Everything is falling apart. We are being hunted. the government does not recognize us, and Coulson is reaching out everywhere he can, and frequently that is under rocks and in dark corners, and he finds this young man who comes in and helps with the team.
That you're hearing here, but the other thing that we wanted to tell folks about is that, again, this team kicks ass, but they're being chased around the globe, and dealing with this group. And knowing that, we probably need somebody that we're going to be having as our big bad, as we like to say. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, Mr. Weedy?
Well, you might recognize his name from Secret Warriors. We have our good friend Reed Diamond is coming in to play the role of Daniel Whitehall, who will be one of our Hydra baddies early on. It's so great to be able to say the word Hydra finally. After a year last year, we couldn't say it ever, and it's just Hydra. It feels so lovely.
The problem is they've got really good logos.
I know.
You didn't want to be evil, but you go, that's cool, I don't know that, and then next thing you know, you're evil. Right, Jeff?
Yes. Clark, we got these lanyards. Did everybody get a lanyard? Did everybody get a lanyard? Director Coulson, can you explain to us what we get with the lanyard?
Oh, I got a lanyard too. Excuse me one second.
Some things are even above Director Coulson.
He had the Hydra t-shirt. I just got to check some things out. All right? So, at Marvel and at S.H.I.E.L.D, they're kind of indistinguishable. In both, if you tell secrets, suddenly you're dead. You don't get anything that doesn't have a secret purpose. Your lanyard, yes, yours, has a secret purpose. I don't know why I deserve that, but I'll go with it. Okay, thank you. Secret purpose. Your cheap dates. Your secret purpose. Last year we endured a lot, as many of you know. We got off to a start, but then we were riddled with Hydra traitors, and you stuck with us. Yes. Just shortening your lifespan with everything you do, my man. Okay. So, you may think that you've seen all of the missions of last season. Special purpose. This lanyard entitles you right now to the unseen missions of Season 1.
Unless I told you that if you want to see that again, it's actually going to be on the DVD and Blu-ray, which is coming out on September 9th, I believe, and you'll be able to see the entire season and enjoy the heck out of it. And while we're standing around here, why don't we have some folks ask some questions to this incredibly talented group of folks? So if you got a question?
Yeah, there he is.
All right.
Big weapon.
I have a question for Agent Grant Warden.
Answer carefully.
Thanks very much.
How dare you?
Dude, he's got one-liners for days.
Kid Coulson, ladies and gentlemen, yes.
Just saying before. Thank you.
I'm cool.
Hi, I'm Allison. I'm here from Oakland today. And
Hi, Allison from Oakland.
Hi. I have a question for the entire cast. If the possibility of a redemption curve for what comes up in this next...
Yes.
What? How would the rest of the team react to a possible redemption curve?
Let's go down. Let's start with Elizabeth. How do you feel about Ward being redeemed?
Terrible.
Fitz? How do you feel about Ward being redeemed? Yeah.
I don't know. He's just really hot as a Hydra agent. Like better than S.H.I.E.L.D. I think it would take. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no for right now.
Well, as long as he keeps taking off his shirt in front of me.
Director Coulson, I'm sorry. I don't get to answer the question. I don't think Ward gets a vote.
I don't feel good about it. But maybe if he brought Fitz a monkey.
Next question. Mr. Deadpool. So where's Deadpool?
Hey, so I noticed you guys had Deadlock and you said there was mercenaries, right? So, any chance of, I don't know, Wade Wilson or some cool guy like that code named Deadpool or something showing up?
Anybody out there on that side, you could pretty freely say that it's not going to happen, couldn't you?
You're saying any one of us can say no?
Any one of you can say that.
Okay. Sorry, no. He told me to do it. I didn't mean to do it. He told me.
Say yes!
Deadpool lives over in that other universe. This is our universe.
Marvel!
You're right, it is all one universe.
I think you asked us this question last year, right?
He does, he answers every year. Alright, another question.
My question is for Chloe. Given the interesting possibilities for your character's backstory, how would you feel about being Jessica Drew?
That would be pretty cool. The thing about that is I don't know anything, so I'm gonna trust these guys over here to,
It's a fun guessing game that we play.
It's just as much of a guessing game for me as it is for you. Really, we find out pretty close. Like, you'll find out pretty much when I find out what I am or who I am or, who my father is.
We'll give Chloe at least 24 hours.
Yeah.
She's not gonna lie. Who's this person? Hello. And then, just to let you know, we have one more question after this one. Go ahead.
I'm Megan, I'm from San Diego.
Hi, Megan from San Diego.
This is a question for the whole cast. What did you guys think when they told you Ward was Hydra?
That's a good question.
That's a great question.
Let's start with Director Coulson.
To be honest, as I said, being part of S.H.I.E.L.D. on our shows, and working in Marvel is very much like being in S.H.I.E.L.D. There was suddenly a lot of producers with some special new pages, and we were all taken into a trailer where we read the new ending and discovered that our friend was a traitor. Which was really cool, we were really so cool. And Hydra, it isn't really sad. It's Hydra, cool. But also very sad. It's a great question, thank you so much. Anybody else?
Me?
I think we both kind of freaked out about it.
Well, yeah, they brought us into a trailer after a day of shooting, and they're like, we have some new pages for you guys, hope you like it, and they brought us, and they all were like, let's read it out loud, and that was kind of weird. And I was like, oh my god, we actually both started crying.
A little bit.
It really did. It was, we play these characters for 10 months out of the year, and we get really attached to to them and their storylines, and it was really shocking.
And weren't you like freaked out because you're like, oh my god, he kissed me, and I'm like, I slept with him.
Yeah. We were in a big argument.
The line's got a little blur.
Just sitting there.
Ian? Elizabeth?
I don't think Ian can talk about this anymore.
Well, I thought it was good and bad. I'll answer it. Well, I didn't get to spend every day working with these lovely people. That broke up the group a little bit, so I didn't get to spend as much time with these lovely people as I wanted to. But then again, I did get to work with Bill Paxton. And just run amok, and I really enjoyed that, and I thought it was so fun to be the bad guy, because it's good to be the bad.
We have time for one more question. One last thing about that, which is just then we got pulled to another room where we got to see Captain America the Winter Soldier. Before anybody had, and we saw the way that the story began on one of our episodes, then carried over, and to see that amazing film with people like Lilly and the amazing writers that are doing that amazing movie, and seeing how Hydra was everywhere and had been there for years. It was the greatest idea to have, even in our core team, someone from Hydra. So it made us very excited to be on our show and excited about what's coming up next season. One last question. Hi.
I was wondering if we could see something from season 2.
The problem with that is that we literally started shooting yesterday.
No lie.
Still? But how many of you have lanyards? And I have to ask, Director Coulson, this is a high-level classified thing that we're talking about. Would you give permission to this audience?
Everyone but that guy right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the world premiere of something that no one has ever seen, and after today will not see again. Here it is, a little piece of season 2.
And we don't get to see it. Oh, I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see it.
How much could there have been to see if they'd been shooting for a day?
Well, you've got to figure out how long do they shoot? Like 8, 12 hours? So it was like 12 hours of footage somewhere. That would have been awesome to see. I still haven't heard what they actually saw, but we'll see in a few weeks here, right?
Right?
Oh, it was great. Ward was booed.
It was like they'd cheer, and then they'd boo, and then they'd cheer, and then they'd boo.
Poor Fitz. Oh, he's up there, Ian. He's like, how do you feel about Ward? Well, I'm just happy to be here. They could have killed me off, but they didn't, so I'm here. I'm just happy to be here. This was not their best panel that I've seen of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but it was still good.
Well, I think it's because they can't really talk about anything. It's like they've talked to death about the season 1 stuff, and there's not really season 2 stuff they can talk about yet.
We've seen Clark Gregg better, though, especially back at the Paley Fest panel. I mean, that was Clark Gregg at his ad-lib best.
Right, but they were also teasing what was going to happen in season 1 a lot at the end.
You mean season 2?
No, the end of season 1.
Oh, yeah, with Paley Fest, yeah, true.
Yeah.
True, and Clark stepped up with a couple of things like, okay, Clark Gregg, Director Coulson, the two have been merging into one. He's such a fanboy that
when he had to step over and see if he was allowed to talk about the thing he wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was set up or not, but either way, it played well.
I think it was like he was really checking, wait.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not. Let me double check.
Oh, wow, that would be so bad. He's such a spokesman for Marvel, and to be spilling the beans on something that he shouldn't. I mean, I'm sure Kevin Feige and the rest of Marvel would just, and Jeff Bell and Jeff Loeb would just play it off, but I could see him not wanting to rock the boat. He's got a great ship he's in right now. I don't want it sinking. Not yet, at least.
Right.
So May made the home improvement gag. Yes, we definitely need to see May with home improvement tools more often.
Nail Hydra. And this is what made me think Chloe's reading all the fanfic. She ships Sky and Ward, but she's okay with Skimmins.
Yeah. She is. We also got, the big Lucy Lawless news came out before this. I don't know. I was thinking about it, why didn't they just wait until the panel? But maybe
they
not. They
probably couldn't keep it quiet.
Well, that plus not everybody in the room might have not known who Lucy was. I mean,
who does not know who Lucy Lawless is at this point?
Well, I do, but I've seen a lot of the stuff that she's been in. And yes, I haven't seen all of Xena, but I have seen the majority of season 1.
Even if you hadn't seen Xena, you knew about it.
Yes, absolutely. But because I've seen her in other things too. So you look into their past. It's like Battlestar Galactica. She's in Parks and Rec too, right?
She's on Spartacus.
And I haven't made it past episode 1 of that, so...
See, she's a really fantastic actor, and I think probably before she was on Battlestar, she didn't get enough credit for how awesome she was on Xena, but she can play the hero, and she can play the bad guy, and she does both really well, so I wonder what they're going to do with her.
Yeah, she could flip-flop back and forth, that's true. As 3 on BSG, she was kind of both. Now, they gave her character's name, Isabel Hartley, and I wish Lauren was here.
I know, because I was going to ask her if she knew that name, because I definitely don't.
They didn't allude to it in the panel at all, if there was a deeper, darker story or whatever. As with the rest of the cast, Nick Blood was Strike. What does Strike stand for, do you know?
No. I haven't gotten there yet.
We have a podcast on Marvel, we don't know what Strike is. Badass. Lauren,
this is Lauren's job.
Yes, absolutely. We need Lauren here. We need Op here. We need Wing here. We need our consultants.
Okay. True story. Lauren's not on special assignment. She got arrested for trying to kidnap a Chris for us.
I can't believe you gave that away. Her defense lawyer is going to go nuts with that.
Guys, now we need you to call in and pledge money for Lauren's bail fund.
Yeah, credit cards. Give us your the code on the back and the expiration date and the name on the front. Yeah, we're all good. All right. Daniel Whitehall as Hydra Baddie and Lance Hunter, Nick Blood. So this is going to be an interesting season.
Reed Diamond plays a good bad guy.
Yeah, definitely. They did give away lanyards, and yes, this was the same style of lanyard that we gave away on the podcast a few weeks ago.
But theirs had a secret purpose.
Yes, so did these. There's the very same one. So if you had one of these, you could walk in there and do it.
But apparently there's going to be more season 1 missions on the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's going to be fun to see. I didn't know if those were the bloopers or actual missions that they didn't do. I'm thinking it's a gag reel. Yeah.
I wonder or maybe if it's like a couple of mini-sodes or something.
That'd be fun. Like one-shots?
Yeah, like miniature one-shots, like half-shots.
I wonder if they number their one-shots.
Nope. You shouldn't number a one-shot because it's a one-shot. They are by definition all number 1.
Yeah, I need to make that announcement now. After this season hiatus is over, we're not going to number the one-shots anymore. But it was good while it lasted. I've been schooled by some comic book experts.
Just another example of Star Pie is wrong. I mean, if you're looking for one, I'll point him out for you.
Maybe call in and get yourself a badge. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm doing the work for you guys. You just have to call. Come on.
Hit her up on Twitter or something. She'll give you a ton, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've been keeping a list.
I have yet to see said list. Oh.
You don't have the proper clearance.
Yeah, you know who does have a proper clearance is that kid Coulson. That was hilarious. The kid,
I would love to be a kid that got to go to Comic-Con.
I know. I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have done Space Camp. You know, my career, I'm a rocket scientist. I work in the aerospace industry. I go out there, I get a degree in rocket science and come home about 5 years later, and my dad looks at me and he goes, "Man, I made a big mistake when you were growing up." I'm like, well, what is that? He's like, I should have sent you to space camp. I'm like, yes, you should have.
Me too.
So space camp and then Comic-Con, they never took me to a comic book store.
My parents made me stay home during the summers, and that's why I crashed my bike into a ditch and cracked my head open. So
there you go.
Should have sent me to space camp.
If you were at space camp, you would have worn a helmet. So it was interesting when they asked the cast about the redemption story arc for Ward. And I think a couple of the responses were pretty good. And Sky's response was, he's kind of hot as a Hydra agent.
Yep. And Simmons was like, no way. She hurt my buddy. We're not taking him back.
Right. But then May said, well, as long as he takes off his shirt, I don't care what he is. But Coulson had the best one. Clark Gregg said the best one, as long as he brings Fitz a monkey. So this season, if I see Ward going out, getting a monkey, that's going to be an awesome callback to San Diego Comic-Con.
Well, and, Fitz wants a monkey with his wee little monkey hands.
And it was also interesting watching Sky and May up there banter back and forth about the whole finding out that Ward was bad. I kissed him. I slept with him.
And then Simmons said that I don't think Ian can talk about this anymore.
Yeah, it's too upset. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Ian, a.k.a. Fitz, on the show. It will definitely be. You think they're going to solve that the first episode? I think they have to.
Maybe. I don't know. Oh, Lauren, with her one phone call from jail, told me, my science babies!
Way to waste a quarter on that one. Oh, yes. Lauren, hopefully we'll be back next week. We're getting together the bail money, and so hopefully we'll be there.
Well, Starpie's getting the bail money together. I'm planning a prison break. So either we'll have Lauren back next time, or I won't be here.
And then you'll have a podcast with Starpie all on his own. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody, not even me. So
bail money, guys.
Yes.
Come on, let's get on this. Or don't.
This is one of the things that I'm glad they allow filming, because as much as I'd want to be here for that, I don't think it's worth staying there for 5 days and spending like $2 to $3 grand.
What I don't know is why Comic-Con doesn't put out the videos themselves.
Or Marvel in this case. Yeah, I don't know.
Because, they're already recording it to put it up on the screens. So why can't they just post that?
It could be some sort of distribution deal. They'd have to have everybody sign or something. I don't know all the...
Well, because they let the video stay up anyways. You'd think they could, get a revenue stream going from advertising on those videos if they posted them themselves.
Yeah, a few years ago, they didn't allow the videos to stay up. So
right, they used to pull them.
Yeah, and now they don't. But you don't... I do another podcast.
You don't get the extra scenes or whatever exclusive footage they show.
Right. You don't get that. But I do another podcast called Voices of Defiance on the sci-fi television show Defiance, and the panel apparently was rocking on Defiance, and nobody can find that video. And I don't know if nobody was filming it or recording.
Which seems unlikely.
Yeah, or recording it, or if just nobody's posted it on YouTube or what. But Sci-Fi's got it. All the production houses have to get their ducks in a row, because this stuff is gold and it's great. So I'm catching up on Arrow for Starling Tribune, and it just so happens to be about the time in where I was watching season 1 with Jay, and we ran into the PaleoFest footage, and we're like, oh, this is so cool. This explains a lot, or this is so funny, or this is so great. And it actually meant a lot to us watching that footage while we're watching that particular spot in season 1. And I think if you're going to throw this stuff on DVDs or Blu-rays later, it's free footage. And heck, a lot of the Marvel Assembling a Universe thing was assembled from Comic-Con panels and stuff like that. So it's good to go to these things. San Diego Comic-Con, on the other hand, is just so inaccessible.
Well, and even if you're there, you might not be able to get into the room.
Right. It's great for the actors and actresses, because most of the production still takes place on the West Coast. So, it's all right there between Vancouver and LA. But for the rest of us, it takes a lot to get there. So, yeah, you're right. Stream it. somehow. They should be streaming it themselves. San Diego Comic-Con or the houses. Like, I keep on going to Marvel.com to try to see this stuff, and it's not there. Now, they'll show interviews, but they won't show the panels themselves. So I'm just wondering what kind of legalese is behind that. So if anybody actually knows, let us know, and we'll stop griping about it. But it is fun. Heck, if you're a fan of the show, if you got a podcast on the show, you want to see this sort of stuff, and it gets you excited for season 2, or the next season. In this case, season 2. So season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then next week, we'll be talking about season 1 of Agent Carter, which will be in the hiatus here in the mid-season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that panel will be fun to listen to. We're also going to have Lauren back, and we're going to be talking about news.
Well, we might have Lauren back, or,
or just me.
We might be sharing a cell.
That's right. I'm going to have to figure out how to mic your cell, and we can just podcast that way, I guess, because I ain't doing this alone. So, Haley, you got anything else for this week?
Nope. I think that about covers it.
That about covers the flybys.
Gotta go get a black cat suit now.
Oh, why not? Marvel, pick up her Agent Haley. Absolutely. So join us next week as we talk San Diego Comic-Con Agent Carter. In the meantime, go to our website, legendsofshield.com, pick up all our past episodes, pick up all our contact information, including our voicemail line, 844-THE-BUS-1 or 844-843-2871. Also, go to the GonnaGeek.com forums. Every episode is posted there, and you can have fun conversations there and see all the other great geeky shows on the GonnaGeek.com network. Hey, I just want to say thank you very much to all our listeners. Really appreciate you sticking with us through the summer. We've been having a lot of fun talking about the movies and getting ready for season 2. So it's been fun having you along.
Yeah, we've got some fun stuff planned up to wrap up the summer and lead into season 2. And we'll be there every week for all of season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all of Agent Carter and Daredevil when it comes out. So we're looking forward to doing that, and we're glad you guys are here to enjoy it with us.
And we're glad to have all the great conversations on places like Twitter and everywhere else that we're at. So it's been fun, especially this week. We did have a few late night conversations on Guardians of the Galaxy. It was fun. Staying spoiler free too, by the way. So until next week, I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
And I'm Agent Haley.
And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to GonnaGeek.com and you will find all of our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com, where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual host and do not represent Legends, Stream, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation. No infringement is intended.